Imagine telling someone in the year 2000 that you earn $180,000 a year. That would probably assume you were wealthy. Nice house, frequent vacations, strong investments, financial security. Now imagine telling a 32-year-old software engineer in San Francisco, Toronto, London, or New York that same salary. Their reaction might be, that's good, but it doesn't go nearly as far as people think. This is one of the strangest economic stories of the modern world. For decades, six figures was the finish line. Today, for many professionals, it feels like the starting line. And this is not just lifestyle inflation or people buying too many lattes. The data shows something much more important. Housing costs have dramatically outpaced income growth. Taxes consume a much larger share of high urban salaries than most people realize. Healthcare, childcare, and education have become major middle class expenses. Social comparison has shifted upward because everyone now compares themselves to other high earners online. And in many global cities, a six figure salary buys a high income but not necessarily wealth. If you're a software engineer, consultant, doctor, product manager, founder, or any ambitious professional wondering, why do I earn more than my parents ever did yet feel less financially secure? This video is for you. Today we're going to break down the math behind the six-figure illusion, why PPP matters more than headline salary, how housing became a real wealth divide, and a practical framework for determining whether you're actually becoming wealthy or just becoming a well-paid renter. Let's dive in. Let's start with a concrete example. In San Francisco, a software engineer earning $180,000 sounds extremely successful, but let's run the numbers. Here's the approximate annual breakdown. Salary of $180,000, federal income tax $28,000, California state tax $11,000, Social Security and Medicare $12,000. The take home is roughly $129,000. That sounds excellent. Now divide that by 12, about $10,750 per month. Here's where things get interesting. Monthly expenses include rent for a decent one-bedroom apartment would be $3,800, utilities plus internet $250, health insurance plus out-of-pocket costs $600, transportation $400, food $900, retirement contributions beyond employer match $1,500, travel, family support and miscellaneous expenses another $1,000. Remaining would be around $2,300 per month. That is $27,600 per year. Good savings? Absolutely. But does it feel like the kind of money most people imagine when they hear a $180,000 salary? Not really. And this is before supporting parents, paying student loans, buying a home, having children, or dealing with a medical emergency. This is the first big insight. High income is not the same thing as high disposable wealth. Housing is the single biggest reason six-figure earners feel squeezed. In many major cities, home prices have grown far faster than professional wages. Consider Toronto. A household earning $150,000 to $200,000 is objectively in the upper portion of the income distribution. Yet purchasing a detached home often requires $200,000 plus of down payment, mortgage payments exceeding $4,000 to $5,000 per month, property taxes, insurance, and maintenance costs. The same pattern appears in Vancouver, London, Sydney, San Francisco, New York, and many of the major cities in the world. This creates a psychological mismatch. Your salary says you're successful. The housing market says you're still not rich enough. And that matters because housing is not just an expense. For previous generations, housing was also the primary engine of wealth accumulation. Many millennials and Gen Z professionals are discovering that they can earn six figures, save diligently, invest consistently, and still struggle to access the asset classes that created much of their parents' wealth. That is a profoundly different economic experience from the one most career advice was built around. Now let's talk about purchasing power parity or PPP that we'd covered in previous videos. This is where the six-figure illusion becomes much easier to understand. Imagine two professionals with very different paychecks. Professional A works in New York City with a salary of $210,000 per year. Federal and state taxes roughly $55,000. Rent for a decent apartment $4,500 per month. Transportation, insurance, utilities, and everyday costs very high. Annual savings around $22,000 to $30,000. Now let's look at professional B who works in Bengaluru working remotely for a global company. He or she has a salary of $85,000, taxes substantially lower than New York's combined burden, housing, a high quality apartment may cost $800 to $1,200 per month, domestic services, transportation and food dramatically cheaper relative to income. Annual savings $35,000 to $45,000. On paper, professional A earns well over twice as much, but after taxes and living expenses, professional B may actually be investing more money every year. If both invest their savings for 10 years with reasonable market returns, the lower salary professional could end up with a comparable or even larger investment portfolio despite earning far less in nominal terms. That is why an increasing number of globally mobile professionals are optimizing for after-tax income, cost-adjusted savings, investment capacity, and long-term lifestyle sustainability rather than the highest headline salary. The important distinction is this: a big salary can make you feel successful. A big savings gap is what eventually makes you wealthy. And in a world of remote work and global labor markets, those two things are no longer always the same. There is another force making people feel poorer than they are: upward comparison. A $150,000 earner used to compare themselves to neighbors, co-workers, friends from school. Now they compare themselves to tech founders, finance influencers, YouTubers, crypto millionaires, and people who selectively display only their best moments online. If everyone in your digital environment appears to own a luxury apartment, a Tesla, international vacations, expensive restaurants, and investment portfolios, your brain recalibrates what normal success looks like. Economists sometimes call this relative income effects. Happiness depends not only on what you earn, but on who you compare yourself to. A $180,000 earner surrounded by people earning $50,000 feels richer. The same person surrounded by people earning $500,000 feels left behind. Social media has effectively placed millions of ambitious professionals into a global comparison arena where they're constantly benchmarking themselves against the top 1% of visible earners. One of the most underappreciated reasons high earners feel financially trapped is family formation. In many major US cities, daycare costs $1,200 to $2,500 per month. Health insurance for a family would cost $1,000 plus per month. Larger apartment or home, $1,500 to $3,000 per month. College savings pressure begins almost immediately. A couple earning $250,000 combined can easily discover that taxes removes a large portion. Housing consumes another large portion. Childcare consumes another large portion. And suddenly their effective discretionary income is far smaller than outsiders imagine. This is one reason birth rates are falling across many developed economies. People are not necessarily rejecting family life. Many are concluding that the economic cost of raising children in high-cost cities has become extraordinarily high even for upper middle-class households. Here's the most important idea in this entire video. A six-figure salary can create the illusion of wealth while keeping it dependent on continued high income. Think about two people. Person A earns $220,000, saves $20,000 a year, has a $1.5 million mortgage, needs the paycheck every month. Person B earns $95,000 a year, saves $35,000 a year, owns a modest home, has low fixed expenses. Who is actually wealthier? Person B may have more financial resilience despite earning less than half the salary. Wealth is not income minus expenses this month. Wealth is assets that continue to support your life even if the paycheck stops. This is the distinction many professionals discover painfully during layoffs. A high earner with expensive housing, car payments, private schools, luxury subscriptions, and little liquid investment capital may have only a few months of real financial runway. That is not wealth. That is a highly compensated dependency structure. So what should ambitious professionals optimize for instead? I think the old formula, higher salary equals richer life, has been replaced by income into savings rate, into time, into geographic efficiency. Let's break that down. The first one is income. Still important, just like we discussed, you need a strong earning engine. The next one is savings rate. A person saving 35% of income often becomes wealthier faster than someone earning much more but saving 10%. Time compounding matters more than salary flexing. The next one is geographic efficiency. This is the hidden variable. Can you earn global level income while avoiding global superstar city costs? That is one of the most powerful wealth building strategies available in the 2020s. So why do six-figure earners feel broke? Not because they're poor, but because the economic meaning of a six-figure salary has changed. Housing became dramatically more expensive. Taxes in essential services consume a larger share of income. Family costs have risen sharply. Social comparison has moved from local to global. And many professionals are earning impressive salaries without building equally impressive net worth. The uncomfortable truth is this: a six-figure income is no longer a guarantee of wealth. It is a ticket to compete for wealth. The people who become financially free in the next decade will not necessarily be the ones with the highest salaries. They'll be the ones who keep fixed expenses under control, avoid excessive debt, invest consistently, understand purchasing power, and choose locations that maximize long-term wealth accumulation rather than short-term status. Because at the end of the day, the goal is not to look rich on LinkedIn. The goal is to have enough freedom that your life is not controlled by the next paycheck. If this video changed how you think about income and wealth, let me know in the comments. What salary did you once consider rich, and has that number changed for you today? If you found this video engaging and useful, subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I'll see you in the next one.